Good afternoon, everyone. All right, I have a couple things at the top, and then we'll get started. As the President said over the weekend, we have been working in good faith and across the aisle to make real progress on one of the most important issues we are facing, securing our border. Now we need Speaker Johnson to step up and provide the authorities and resources we requested to secure the border. I want to point out one thing to all of you. Until recently, Speaker Johnson has also advocated for new resources and new legal authorities via legislation to secure the border. The Trump administration argued the same thing with the full-throated endorsement of then Congressman Mike Johnson. For his part, over the last 2 months, President Biden and his team have been working with a bipartisan group of senators to put together the toughest, and the fairest border security bill in history. This bipartisan agreement would deliver the resources the president asked for in his supplemental, like 1,300 new Border Patrol agents, 375 new immigration judges, 1,600 new asylum officers, 100 cutting-edge inspection machines to catch fentanyl. It would also provide a president with a new emergency authority to secure our border when it becomes overwhelmed. And as you heard from the president, he would use that authority if the bipartisan agreement became law. Now, if Speaker Johnson continues to believe, as President Biden and Republicans and Democrats in Congress do, that we have an imperative to act immediately on the border, he should give this administration the authority and funding we're requesting to secure the border. Now, after 3 months, or 3 months ago, President Biden issued a landmark executive order to ensure that America leads the way in seizing the promise and managing the risks of AI. The order directed sweeping action to strengthen AI safety, security project, and protect Americans' privacy, advance equity and civil rights, stand up for the consumers and workers, promote innovation and competition, advance American leadership around the world, and more. Today, Deputy Chief of Staff Bruce Reed convened the White House AI Council consisting of top officials from across government. Agencies reported that they have completed all of the 90-day actions tasked by the EO, including using the Defense Production Act to compel developers of the most powerful AI systems to report vital information, and they have drafted a proposed rule to compel U.S. cloud companies to report on providing computing power to foreign governments. President Biden's directive to his team has been to move fast and fix things. In just 90 days, the Biden-Harris administration has taken the most sweeping actions of any country to harness the promise of AI while putting in place strong guardrails to protect against the risk. 15 years ago, then President Obama signed the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act into law, marking a victory in the fight for equal pay. To build on the progress we've made under this law today, President Biden announced new actions to advance pay equity for the federal workforce and employees of federal contractors. These new actions will help pay millions of workers fairly, close gender and racial wage gaps, and result in tangible benefits for government workers. These policies are good for workers, our economy, and American families. They advance pay equity and strengthen the economic security of women across the country. And the president remains committed to building on this work. And finally, I have 2 shout outs in the room. First, I want to introduce you all to Sam Michel, who is joining us in the briefing room today. He has been loaned to us from USTR. I want to personally thank the administrator for allowing Sam to be with us while Emily is on maternity leave. He'll be, of course, acting Deputy Press Secretary while she's out. We hope you take a moment to come to the back, come to Lower Press, and say hello to Sam. We're very, very happy to have him for these next couple of months. And one more shout out, we want to congratulate Doug Mills on becoming a grandfather. Congratulations, Doug. And welcome you back to the briefing room. I know you've been gone for some time, and we are really excited to have you back. And again, congratulations. We have missed you, my friend. And finally, I'm going to give it over to Admiral John Kirby, who's going to give an update on the Middle East. Admiral?
Afternoon, everybody. I know there's a lot of interest, and rightly so, in the attacks, that attack that our troops faced over the weekend in Jordan, an attack that claimed 3 of their lives and sent more than 30 of them to the hospital, some with serious injuries. So I just want to make a few points right at the top. First, the President and the First Lady, as well as everyone in the administration, send their condolences to the family of those who were killed. No Blue Star family ever wants to become a Gold Star family. And sadly, there are now 3 more families on that roster. It's hard to imagine the grief that they're feeling right now and that they will feel for the rest of their lives. We want them to know that we'll make sure that they get all the support that they need and that we mourn with them. We also wish a complete recovery for all those wounded in this attack. They are receiving and will continue to receive the very best medical care that the military can provide them. Second, these troops were conducting a vital mission in the region aimed at helping us work with partners to counter ISIS. And even as the Defense Department gathers more information about the attack, that mission must and will continue. Third, the counter-ISIS mission is separate and distinct. Indeed, it has been long-standing and unrelated to our efforts to support Israel and to prevent a wider conflict in the region. We do not seek another war. We do not seek to escalate. But we will absolutely do what is required to protect ourselves, to continue that mission, and to respond appropriately to these attacks. Now, I know the first set of questions I'm going to get are, well, what does that look like? What's appropriate? And what response options is the President considering? I hope you can understand why I'm not going to telegraph any punches here from the podium, nor will I get in front of the President or his decision-making. He's met twice with his national security team yesterday and today. He's weighing the options before him. As he said yesterday, we will respond. We'll do that on our schedule, in our time, and we'll do it in the manner of the President's choosing as Commander-in-Chief. We'll also do it fully cognizant of the fact that these groups, backed by Tehran, have just taken the lives of American troops. And I think I'll leave it there. Now, quickly, just on one other topic. Over the weekend, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan held more than 12 hours of meetings in Bangkok with his counterpart from the People's Republic of China, Director Wang Yi. Mr. Sullivan and Director Wang took stock of progress on key issues following the meeting between President Biden and President Xi back in November. Now, that includes discussing efforts to resume military-to-military communication, which has occurred, addressing artificial intelligence, safety and risks, and advancing bilateral counter-narcotics cooperation. In fact, the launch of a working group on counter-narcotics will begin tomorrow in Beijing. Our delegation will be led by Deputy Homeland Security Advisor Jen Doskell. The two sides also held constructive discussions on global and regional issues, including those related to Russia's war against Ukraine, the Middle East, of course, the DPRK, the South China Sea, and Burma. And they also discussed cross-strait issues. And with that, I'll take some questions.
Thanks, John. A couple of just basic fact pattern questions. Can you confirm that the initial reports suggest that the attack drone that killed the U.S. forces was misidentified for a U.S. drone that was returning to that base?
I cannot.
Can you update us on has the U.S. definitively confirmed attribution of the attack beyond just vaguely Iran-backed militias? Do you have a specific militia group that you know launched this attack?
We're still working our way through that right now.
You said that the President was still weighing his options. Does that imply that the President right now has not made a decision how he wants to respond?
I won't get ahead of the President's decision-making. As I said, he met twice with the national security team, including not very long ago. When we have something to speak to, we'll speak to it.
And speaking to it, will we hear directly from the President? Will he speak to the American people about this attack and his response when it happens?
Well, he mentioned it yesterday in South Carolina. I don't have anything on his schedule to speak to, but I have no doubt that he'll continue to communicate with the American people about how important it is that these missions continue and that our troops and our facilities are safe.
And last one for me, has the President directed any change to force posture in the region to protect American troops there?
We don't talk about force posture changes one way or another, and we certainly don't pre-announce them, particularly when it comes to areas on the ground that are potentially under threat. I can just tell you that the President's confident that the Defense Department under Secretary Austin will do what they got to do to look after force protection issues.